Happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome into the Graham Lincoln Mac Lane podcast presented by Ingles, the official supermarket of Graham Lincoln Mac Lane. We have a very special guest on today's episode. We normally, and he made this known to us, we normally only talk to him in the preseason. And he's like, why don't you call me more? And we were like, Coach, are you available? Like, we are happy to talk with you. So Mike Norvell made time for us in the middle of the season, in the middle of his very, very busy every single day.
That's right.
To talk to us, and that's awesome, Mac.
He made a new standard, set a new standard.
Yeah, that's
Coach
right.
Norvell. So now, head coaches, we're going to be calling. We're coming after you. We want to talk. And of course, they're having such a great season. It's easy to talk when you're number 4 in the country and playing at such a high level. But Coach always provides such great insight, and we dive into some really fun stuff. Different things and why they do certain things. And this weekend against Duke. Are there going to be any changes, any differences kind of in game plan? He breaks it all down. So if you want to know the game plan, listen here. I'm just kidding. But it was fun talking with him. And big shout out to Derek Satterfield, of course, for setting it up. Before we go to the interview, KG, our friends over at Ingles, I know, has the Halloween candy everywhere. First off, I want to know what your number 1 Halloween candy is. And do not say Twizzlers for all the people. Secondly, what Halloween candy do you buy for all the good people? Are you a full bar type of person? Are you a raisins type of person? What do you do here?
Gross. Okay, well, I love Twizzlers, and you know that, and you're a hater. We all know that.
That's not a Halloween candy, though. That's a movie candy. That's a movie candy.
It is a movie candy. And when I went to go see the T-Swift Eras Tour movie, which I have my cup.
Shout out to the cup on standby.
I requested... my friend went and picked up candy before we went. I requested Mike and Ike's, and honestly, Mike and Ike's is my OG. If you can find the bags of candy that have the little bags of like fruity candies with Mike and Ike's and dots, that's where I'm at. I know, controversial. You're still a hater, but if you go to a house and they have the mini Mike and Ike bags, I'm happy. Like, I'm in heaven. So I would like to serve that to the children and educate them. Halloween is not just a chocolate holiday, Mac. It's not just chocolate. Come on. There's so many more things in the world.
You would have been the perfect friend to grow up with, to trade candy with. Yeah. Because I don't want any of that crap. I would give you all of it.
Give me the dots that get stuck in my teeth for like 3 days.
Yeah, exactly. Very happy with our Halloween decisions there. I'm pretty disappointed yet again. With the candy choices, but
as always,
we're not all perfect. Okay, we got to have our flaws there. Listen, you can say Reese's for anything, any time of the year. I think that's pretty obvious. But I do like to mix it up, But a lot of chocolate. We don't do the. We're not doing.
You and I would
snacks.
Be perfect to trade bags.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That would be perfect.
Exactly. Or even neighbors to balance it out. So whenever you want to come to Chicken City down here, come on down.
Chicken City, Lord. We will save our next week's analysis for what we're going to be for Halloween and our costumes. So stay tuned for that.
Ooh, Jacob, I can't wait.
Yeah, Florida State.
Have it, right? You already have the costume?
Yeah. Oh, we're ready. Yeah.
I can't wait.
Florida State is hoping to be 8-0 for Halloween. I think that's what they're hoping to be. So let's talk with Mike Norvell.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA choice and prime meat? Did you know that they have more local craft beer than any place else? Or that they have Energy Smart stores? Or that they professionally slice and package imported cheese from Europe? Did you know about their giant international aisle, local farm partnerships, curbside pickup, wine department? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Coach Norvell, welcome back into the podcast. Kelly was just joking about this, but it's not preseason, and we get to talk to you, so this is great. We appreciate you joining us. Season has been unbelievable. Thank you for joining us, brother.
I appreciate you guys having me on, and we're excited about how the first half of the year's gone, and really looking forward to continuing to take those positive steps and just get better as each game and each opportunity.
Well, you've done that, and it's been fun to watch. And it's funny, you mentioned the halfway point. Somebody said that on radio to me yesterday, and I was like, no way. Is that what we are? Like, this is crazy that the season is just flying by. But we've obviously seen a ton from your team on every aspect, and this is a massive, open-ended question. But what have you been impressed most with your guys so far this season?
I think the way that they've truly worked to finish. We've had a lot of different situations, good and bad, that have shown up throughout the course of the season. I think that our team has definitely worked. I mean, the way that they've approached practice, the way they approach meetings. There is a lot of accountability within our team. Players, coaches, everybody involved, just to go out and get better. And I think that's helped us build our confidence throughout this journey. And as we found ourselves in close games, as we found ourselves in games that we've been able to take care of and really finish there in the second half. And I've been proud of our guys for that, and just continuing to push them when it comes to the importance of that continued development.
Coach, I want to ask you about Keon Coleman as a whole, but first, his return on Saturday when you are sprinting up the sideline. I mean, that video is impressive. You are moving. What was going through your mind as you're watching him almost score? I mean, he got close. What was going through your mind?
I was just so excited for our players. We work really hard, throughout the course of the week of practice. And when you see guys that have put in the effort in there for our punt return unit, I mean, that's a big. We've had just a huge point of emphasis, and seeing guys really straining and pushing. And when you have that many Garnet jerseys there, trying to lead them to the end. I mean, I got excited, and I was just my response is I figured I'd go run with them, they definitely they passed me up pretty quick. So no, I was just glad that I didn't hit anybody on the sideline. And, I was just there celebrating with our guys.
Coach, you were moving. All right. Don't be humble. You were moving. When it comes to Keon in general, people knew that he was going to be an impact transfer. He was on all those lists, right? Biggest guy in the portal, whatever. But I'm not sure we knew he would do this. What has he added to your team and to your program?
I mean, just a tremendous worker. He's a great teammate. Really brings joy to every day. And I mean, he wants to be coached. I mean, in all that we do, whether it's a route detail or release, different concepts that we run. I mean, you see the versatility. I mean, he's so smart. He's done such a good job of coming in and truly studying, understanding this offense, and allowing us to use him in a variety of ways. He's lined up all over the field. But when you have somebody that has that drive and really passion to go and be great, I mean, yes, the Lord's blessed him with a lot of skills and ability, but I mean, he's worked, and he's really invested a lot of time, which has allowed us to do a lot with him. And really proud of how he's come in and joined the program, and just as much as he's done on the field, who he is off the field, what he's meant to his teammates, and what he means to his coaches, just as a young man that he is, it's really special.
Hey, look, we know, Coach Babers knows God spent a little more time on Keon Coleman, right? I thought that was really funny when he said that. And you talk about using him a bunch of different ways. Not that this is the Keon show, but I have been fascinated with this the entire season since he's been back there. How did you come about putting him on punt return to be the guy? I mean, big, freaky. Normally you think of a little small guy back there. How did that come about?
Well, I mean, it was something that we were looking for somebody to really establish themselves as our punt returner. And what I always loved about him is just his confidence. He is a playmaker, and when you have playmakers that you like getting the ball into their hands, and you try to find different ways you can do that, whether it's special teams, different things you can do offensively. And he's a very confident young man. He works hard at it, and I figured that. We can get him a handful of touches in the return game. It's a chance for him to impact the overall game, and he's definitely proved us right in that, and just pleased with the work he's put in to establish himself in that role too.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. I mean, it's been freaky to see that. You see just a guy of that size and the moves that he makes, the speed that he has. It's on full display each and every weekend. How about your quarterback, man, Jordan Travis? Because he is a guy that, man, it's just always getting better. Always a student of the game, the way that he sees it, the things that he does. Only one interception on the season. I'm knocking on wood as I say that. I'm sorry. But he's been very impressive. How has he orchestrated this offense and, again, helped take you guys to another level?
Well, I mean, just his efficiency in the offense. I mean, yes, we're an explosive offense, and he is a absolute catalyst to that. But I mean, he's also been so efficient, and making sure that he's owning the ball. He's done a great job of helping us create points, whether it's with his arm, with his legs. His last game, he had 3 touchdowns. That he accounted for, and just seeing him just continue to grow and develop, and just the leader that he is, the confidence that he pours pours into others. Watching him work throughout the course of the week, I mean, he's just he's everything you can ask for in a player, and he's absolutely challenging himself daily to go out there and get better. And so he's never sitting back and thinking that he has everything figured out. He wants to improve. He wants to be there for his teammates, and he wants to make sure that in how he plays, he puts us in the best position to have a chance to win.
Coach, when we look at your team this year and we look at any teams that go on to make the playoff or win a national title, whatever it is, you have those games where you just got to find a way, to win. Boston College was probably one of those, but you're undefeated. And there are a few of these games that perhaps maybe your team last year, maybe previous iterations of Florida State might have lost that game, but you guys found a way. You said the word finish quite a few times. How did you emphasize that with your team throughout this offseason? Because to me, that kind of feels like the biggest difference.
Well, I mean, since we've come here, it's the word for us has been respond, and regardless of the situation, the circumstance, whatever you might face. I mean, it's how you respond, and ultimately that is a part of how you finish. Because if you respond in a positive way, if you face adversity, if something bad happens, or if something really good happens, how you respond to that situation through the finish is what's so important. And probably the one time this year that I was most disappointed was at the Boston College game. We're up 31-10. Really done some good things in a response. But then, it was the first time that I felt that we just, we lost our edge a little bit. And we had a fumble that they recovered for a touchdown. We had a turnover, just a couple things that didn't go our way and allowed that game to be closer than what it needed to be. But then with our back against the wall, in the moment of needing to make a play, we did. And, defense got a couple sacks. We were able to finish the game, in that moment. And the same thing you saw, in Clemson for its own different elements. But then as the season's going, I think we're getting better and better. And we got a huge game this Saturday that's going to, take a great response, throughout it. And then, you're going to have to play for 60 minutes in this one.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. Coach, when you look at this team and defensively, pieces that we knew about, some pieces that we didn't know about that have really stepped up and been exciting to watch. Where do you think your biggest strength is defensively where, hey, we need it, we got to have it, I can count on X to happen?
I mean, I think our defensive front, that forcing unit, has really been great for us, and we faced some challenging offenses I'd have to go against. I mean, I think we've had to go against 4 of the top 8 rushing quarterbacks in college football, here in the early part of the season. So, when you have to face that, it attacks in so many different ways. But, you see that our guys were continuing to get better. And, these last few games, I think that we played at a very high level. Our defensive backs, just the way that they've been making, the aggressiveness of what they're playing with, making plays on the ball. I mean, it's all coming together because it takes all 3 levels, from the forcing unit, obviously, which includes the linebackers, the defensive backs, all of those guys working together and playing with speed, confidence, and physicality. And I think that's what's showing up.
Yeah, so you talk about that running quarterback, and this is, KG, my apologies, but it's something we always talk about. And you bring up how many you've had to face just from a coach's perspective, because I know as a former player and analyst, we look at it one way, but why is that so difficult to prepare for when you have a guy that can do that on the opposition?
Well, I mean, they force you to account for another gap. And, whenever they are a run threat, you have to fit, that gap, it eliminates the extra number, whether it's a read, when those guys are incorporated in the run game. I mean, you have to account with them with a force player, and whether that's a safety that's coming down, whether that's, a defensive back, whatever that might be, it really challenges, all the gaps, all the fits. And then, with guys that can still throw the football, you've got to be alert in coverage and make sure that you're, taking care of everything from the top down, not giving up the explosive plays in the passing game. And so, it's a different element that you have to contend with. And, there's a lot of quarterbacks that are mobile. And, but when you face guys that are, there's the direct runs, there's the things that are specifically game planned for them to be the ball carrier. I mean, it definitely puts a challenging part to your defense.
And you guys do that to other teams with Jordan Travis. So you go up against us in practice. When we talk about running quarterbacks with Duke, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with Riley Leonard. I know you can only go off the information you have. We know Beelan is also very good with his legs as well. Are you guys approaching this and preparing as if Riley Leonard will play? How are you handling that in your locker room?
Yeah, we are, and I mean, ultimately, if it's something that's different, then we'll adapt and adjust to it. We're always going to have plans. We're going to have, we do that whether it's a quarterback's injured or not. I mean, you want to know who the personnel are. You'll be able to try to put your guys in the best position versus who you're going to face. But ultimately, I know Riley warmed up there last week. I know he's day to day, and that's something that we're fully expecting him to come out and be ready to play here on Saturday night. But for us, it's trying to put the best plan together. I mean, this is a team. You look at even without him playing this last week. I mean, for what they were able to do in the run game, the explosive shots, in the passing game down the field. I mean, they're really gonna stress you in a lot of different ways. Love their running backs, their receivers, really good on the offensive line. I mean, this is a real team that's playing at a very high level, and we know we're going to have to play our best game come Saturday.
Yeah, this is a very good football team. I think everybody understands that at this point, and if you don't, then you're not paying attention. I would say two of the biggest the strengths of both these teams, y'all's wide receivers, of course, and then this Duke secondary has really been good. This may be the best secondary you guys have faced all year. How are you getting your receivers ready? Are you telling them, hey, prove it to me with this secondary? How do you see that battle shaping up?
Yeah, I just want our guys to go out there and just continue to get better. I mean, they prove it to me. I want them to prove it to me in practice. I want them to prove it to me with every opportunity that they get. I mean, but ultimately, it's just going out there and getting better. We're going to face a really, really good defense. I mean, top 4 defense in the country.
Yeah.
These guys. I mean, they're very well coached. Very athletic. They've got a lot of speed in the secondary. Guys that can make plays. I mean, what's so impressive is just watching them tackle. I mean, very few missed tackles. On the perimeter and in space, and so they've done a great job with what they've done up until this point, and we know we're going to have a great challenge in front of us. But these are games you love playing in, and you're going to have to bring your A game, and it's going to be plays on both sides of the ball.
There's no doubt about it. Coach, when you play a defense like this, because they are very good, you just mentioned how they rank in the country, and physically, I mean, just seeing them in person twice now, they're fast, explosive, violent. When you play a defense like that, and maybe LSU was a little bit, maybe not, do you have a mindset that's different? Do you want to be more aggressive? Do you want to say, hey, let's control the game? Does anything differ when you play a defense of this caliber?
I mean, each game is going to have its own plan, and you're going to try to find ways to get a competitive advantage. Whether it's something you do schematically, or whether it's something that you try to do, just with certain concepts or in different run schemes.
Yeah.
Just trying to put your players in the best position to go make plays. And these guys are very well coached. I mean, there's not much that they see that where they lose leverage, or they're usually going to have an edge. And those guys, everybody understands their fits. They do it well. They play fast in the secondary. They don't give up explosive plays. So I think I've had one play in the year over 40 yards, just a couple. I mean, this is a team that's going to keep everything, there in front of them. And so, we've got to try to create the explosive play. And, you don't want to go out there and just, force things, because you got to be efficient. You got to be able to try to move the ball. We want to have balance in everything that we do, but it's, like I said, these are the fun games to be a part of, because it takes everybody. It takes coaches, players, everybody involved to go out there and do all that we can to have success.
No doubt about it. Well, we can't wait to see it. It's going to be so much fun. We appreciate your time, brother. Thank you always for joining us.
Well, you guys have a great rest of the week, and I look forward to seeing you soon. And go Noles.
Thanks again to Mike Norvell for joining us in his very busy week as he's getting ready for this top 16 matchup.
Woo.
Mac, we've got a game here. Number 4, Florida State is hosting number 16, Duke, 7:30 p.m. on ABC. It feels like that 7:30 ABC slot has kind of been reserved for the ACC and or Notre Dame if they're playing the ACC. And Florida State's been on ABC literally every week. I mean, that's where they live now. Let's start with the spread, as we generally do. We're going to break down this game in more detail on Friday, but this is kind of an overarching discussion. Florida State, a 14-point favorite. Mac.
It's a lot of points.
Is that disrespect to Duke, a.k.a. No guy in Vegas has even watched Duke this year. They don't understand how good they are. Or B, does it have more to do with Riley Leonard and his status? Because I can buy that.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a little more legitimate.
Okay, so if Riley doesn't play, you think Duke loses by 14?
I think it's possible.
14 and a half?
I think it's possible without Riley, yeah.
Yeah.
If Riley
Maybe.
Leonard plays, to me, it's an obvious cover. But
Right.
I mean, I saw he was limping in warmups.
He was limping. He was gimping. He was gimping.
He was not. He did not look like a guy that's going to be boom just fine on Saturday, especially go up against this Florida State defense.
Right. Right. And yeah, I'm with you. I don't know. That's a lot of points to me. We'll see how it moves and what changes. But on a Tuesday night, I think I'm leaning Blue Devils here, with this number, because I don't know, just that defense is really good. And I think they keep it close. I think they keep it uncomfortable. I think Duke has like the top 5 or maybe better than that red zone defense in the entire country. Now, our Tigers did have a lot to do with that and certainly helped the cause. But regardless, they're playing at a high level. So excited to see that. And then in the back of my mind, all I keep hearing is Florida State is 21-0 against Duke. So who knows? We will see. That's a big number to never, ever, never have beaten these guys. So I don't know, KG. I do think a little disrespectful, though, no doubt.
That's a great stat, Mac, that Florida State has never lost to Duke. Never lost. And this be the team that does it? When you let's look past the Riley Leonard factor. I think this Duke's defense has been so good. I mean, you heard Mike Norvell talking about it. This Duke defense has been excellent. And even when Riley didn't play, they dominated NC State. They held them to 3 points. They held Clemson to 7 points. They held Notre Dame to basically under 20 until the end with the 2-point conversion, right? And that crazy run at the end. So, I mean, this defense is for real. And defense travels. If you want, when you're going on the road playing at night, I think you want your better unit perhaps to be your defense. I think this defense is going to show up. I think this defense is going to give Florida State some problems. I just wonder how the offense is going to look. But the defense doesn't really worry me for Duke.
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, they're playing at a very high level, forcing turnovers, stopping the run, keeping people out of the end zone. Statistically, the number 1 defense in the ACC. And listen, they're very confident about that in this level of play.
They should be.
Right. We were talking with Coach Elko, after the game, and he was like radiating when he was talking about his defense, very excited about how they play and the effort that they've put forth each and every year. And it's a bunch of different guys, right? It's not like there's just one dude that it's kind of like, hey, that's the guy. It's everybody, and everyone plays their role. We've asked a handful of people about this, and obviously talked with Coach and heard his thoughts here, Coach Norvell. But, I said, just what makes these guys so good? And a lot of people are just saying, hey, alignment. They are not going to mess up. They are not going to have MAs. They're going to be where they're supposed to be, rally to the football. And to me, the closing speed, the violence they bring, and the sure tackling ability, KG, it's been impressive. And these guys have taken it up a notch. And I think, not only in the, weight room, but in the film room, and just doing everything in your power as a player to get better, to make this defense better. Go and get a couple of very nice pieces in the portal as well. That has complemented this defense immediately and been really fun to watch. So I agree. I can't wait to watch this battle, because you have a very balanced team in Florida State. Maybe not as strangely as to say, maybe not as explosive as North Carolina has been, but still very balanced. And what do you want to take away? Because they're great at everything. It will be fascinating to see, does Duke hone in on something and then let it kind of go from there? And what do they want to do?
Yeah, and when you look at the offense on both sides of the ball here, it's interesting. Jordan Waters and Trey Benson, they both have 65 carries this season.
Oh,
which
wow.
is kind of freaky.
That's awesome.
Jordan Waters, 426 yards, Trey Benson, 463, but Jordan Waters, 9 touchdowns, and Trey Benson, 6. So I think you've got 2 really good running backs here. To me, the difference, and by the way, Florida State's rush defense has been a little sus at just 10th in the ACC, so keep that in mind. But I do think, and I don't want this to be kind of a lame take, but it's like, if Riley Leonard's not there, Jordan Travis is the massive differentiator. Right. And even if Riley Leonard does play, I would still take Jordan Travis. So if I'm Duke, I think I try to take away the run, and I bank on my secondary that has played lights out.
Yeah.
And I do what I can to slow down these wide receivers, and hopefully Jordan Travis makes a mistake or two, and you force him to make a mistake or two. But we know how good these wide receivers have been for Florida State.
No doubt. And on the other side, I mean, if I'm Florida State, I'm loading the box. Like, I'm daring you to throw the football 100% and saying, hey, you're not going to run on us. You're not going to be able to do what you can.
I would do that.
Right. And say, prove it. Let's see. Because we have not seen that this year. We have not seen them be able to stretch the field vertically on a consistent basis.
I hear Sam.
Get these things going. There's Sam. Welcome to the party, puppy dog. And so I think at the end of the day, like, force the issue there. Like, really sell out to try to stop the run. And I think you'll be in a good place. But then again, like you said, on the opposition side, can Duke be physical with these wide receivers? Can they be in their grill, put their hands on them? Because when you have big bodies like that, try to slow it down. Try to slow down the route tree, the thought process, and then can anybody get home? They've protected Jordan Travis very well. But at the end of the day, can you put a little pressure and try to speed up that entire thing?
And does Johnny Wilson play? That's another factor here.
Yeah.
This is by far the best wide receiver core that Duke has faced this year. So keep that in mind compared to, Notre Dame's and Clemson's. And here's the other factor, Mac. Here's one of the bigger factors, in my opinion. Duke has played one road game this season.
Right.
That's crazy. And their one road game was at UConn. Does that really count? So
going to be a little different. Going to be a little different on Saturday.
This is 0 to 100, right? From UConn to Doak Campbell night game. Yeah. Florida State is fully back. The fans are fully back. No shirtless book guy. All right. This is serious. So that's a huge factor for me, Mac, especially, and we'll just call this episode if Riley Leonard plays. Right. If he doesn't, and you don't have your leader, you don't have your vet, how do you handle this environment?
Exactly.
It's going to be huge.
And silver lining, Beelan did get to start. He did get a game in under his belt, and now we'll have 3 weeks preparing as the guy. But as you said, it's hard to prepare for that. It's hard to have your rolled in speakers turned up to 1,000 and try to simulate what you're going to see there Saturday night in Doak Campbell. I mean, it's going to be nuts. The tomahawk chop is going to be on 1,000, war chant, whatever you want to call it, all those guys going crazy. And it's going to be a scene. I mean, I guarantee you that. A ranked opponent coming to town, Tallahassee is going to be the spot to be. Can't wait to see it. We'll break more of this game down, KG. I kind of alluded to my pick. We'll see if that line moves, see if I have a change of heart.
And I'm going to be monitoring, X or whatever the heck it is. I think, as most people will, the whole week to see if we can find out more information about Riley Leonard, because that's an X factor.
Do you want me to let you in on some breaking news?
Oh, what do you know?
You will know nothing until an hour before kickoff.
Dang it.
So don't waste your time looking. They're not going to say a word.
Mac,
they
even
won't
with your
anything.
sources?
Yeah, maybe. But
Come on.
Nobody. You might know, but nobody else will know. How about that?
It's going to be huge. And if you're Duke, exactly, you keep it as quiet as you can. And if you're Florida State, as Coach Norvell said, you're preparing for Riley Leonard.
Yeah,
that's all you can do.
No doubt about it. So can't wait to see it. Again, we'll talk about all this more on Friday, break the game down, every angle, even though we gave you a bunch right there. But can't wait to talk about some meaningful games this weekend in the ACC, as we are going to continue to have the rest of the year, which is very exciting, very fun, and some, like I said, very meaningful football coming down the stretch. So again, appreciate Coach Norvell. Thank you for joining us. To our guy, Derek Satterfield, of course, for setting it up. And of course, our great partner sponsor equaled Spartner. Ingles, of course, everything that they do for us.
The best Spartner out there.
The greatest Spartner there ever was. But appreciate you guys tuning in. We need you to go over to YouTube, leave some comments, subscribe, join this party. We
Get
have
in
a lot
there,
of
Noel
fun.
fans.
And of
we
course,
know.
that's right, the OGs over on Apple Podcasts. Rate, review, subscribe. We would greatly appreciate that. But until next time, we'll see y'all.